What's up, everybody? It's your boy Andrew Esquire. Almost caught unawares here over here in Seoul, South Korea. It's good to see everybody. It's good to be back on stream. Oh man, there's pros and cons to streaming a little bit less. I'm getting a lot of work done. I'm working on other projects. I got some big stuff coming for this channel as well. But I do miss you guys. Senpai thinks about you and misses you. I hope that y'all are checked in on my locals as well. They get the most updated information. And shout out to all the DGens over there, whether you're on locals, whether you're on Rumble over there, Joe Schmo, I see Danielle over there on Rumble, or the live channel locals. Yeah, you guys are great. Appreciate all of y'all. Let me give a little shout out to them. CLS, Mad Gas, 3 Beers, Barry 1, BTC, Ralph, Vealhammer, Jay. What's going on? Cherry Bombshell, Joe Sound Guy in English. Good to see all the DGens over here on locals. Asking the important questions like, what would you rather do? Sit on the toilet or, which was it? Would you rather look at the toilet or look at a whale? And whale as in fat woman. I took the toilet. I definitely took the toilet. You guys know. Yeah, no, I'm starting my streams on time. We're exactly on time. Well, what's up, BB? Good to see you in the chat. Haven't seen you in a while, but good to see that. Yeah, BB, this story is nuts. So we're gonna get into this, get into the Abby Choi story. I'm also gonna talk a little bit about the DeSantis Disney bit at the end, and I'll tell you why I want to do the Abby Choi story, especially at the end. So there's more than one reason. It's not just because it makes the Idaho murders look like Disney World. Literally, the Abby Choi murder in Hong Kong makes Idaho look like a children's playground. Speaking of which, speaking of children's playgrounds or things that should never be allowed around children and still are not allowed within 500 yards in Utah. Jeff, good to see you, brother. Good to see you in the chat, my friend. Love you. Come up to Seoul. I miss you. I miss you, baby. All right. Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter if you're not familiar with her. We're going through it today. We're going to review all the facts. We're going to show who she is, what she is. Yes, the answer is smash, but, she's kind of dead. So now I guess the answer is pass. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But first, I do need to say something. This is kind of cursory. I want to get this off my chest. This is the first. I've said it on locals, but I will say it here. And because I know that a lot of people are kind of clamoring, there's some scuttlebutt on Twitter and the law tubes and whatnot. So I'm going to say it here publicly because I guess I'll say it once and then just kind of get it done. There's kind of these people that are, there's the lawyers on YouTube, and then there's the people that are adjacent to the lawyers on YouTube. And as the lawyers on YouTube got bigger and bigger, as the space became a thing, you see people that clamp onto the space, and they do various things, whether that's clipping, whether it's commentary, whether it's coming on the shows. And so there's developed this weird, like, I hate the word law tube, but let's just call it law tube adjacent space, right? That exists. And look, that's great. If people can grift on that, good for them, make money. I'm all pro capitalism. But I think the weird thing is that people expect us lawyers on the internet to be responsible for this weird adjacent space. And we're really not. It's not ours. We don't own it. Nobody's our bitch, and everybody is free to make their own decisions, good and bad. So when stuff happens in that space, I think they turn to us like, what are you guys going to do about it? And we're like, we don't have to do anything about it. Like, that's your own fucking personal responsibility. So to be very clear here, I know that there's a lot of stuff going on right now with potential copyright strikes. There's a lot of accusations. There's a lot of clout chasing. And people are saying, hey, Andrew, do you have comments on this? And my take is the same take I've always had. And I'm happy to repeat it because some people want me to repeat it, and I'm happy to repeat it, which is a few things, a few general rules, which is I don't believe in copyright striking in general for anybody. I don't give a shit if you're the largest channel, you're the smallest channel. I mean, I don't care if you've got 1 sub or 1 million, and I don't really care what the reason is. If you put it out there on the internet, you put it out there on the internet. It's not something that unless somebody is taking wholesale with zero edits and reposting it, it's not really something that you should be worried about. In fact, that's even good press. More people are seeing your content and trying to get your content, because they're going to realize quickly that person that's copying your content isn't you. That's not the real channel, and they're going to find you. So I really don't think that's a smart thing to do. So that's just something I say in general for everybody. I don't give a shit about people specifically. I literally don't give a fuck about them. You guys know that. You guys know that about me. In terms of punching down, I think this is something which Nick mentioned on his stream. People are asking us to comment on channels that have like fucking 100 subs or 50 subs or 10. Now, I believe everybody has a freedom of speech, but it doesn't mean that I'm obligated to come down like Thor from the heavens and fucking bolt somebody like Odin. I've got to fucking crush the mortals here. I don't think we have to do that. I don't think that's necessary. And I think it's stupid for creators to punch down on smaller channels. I think it always is going to end poorly. So I don't do it. I'm refusing to do it. I think by me even like engaging in a lot of these things, it's punching down. So I just don't do that. And the last thing is that I've talked about clout goblins, clout chasers. I talk about that extensively on my locals. I have a video on that, which is grifting versus clout chasing, which I constantly will refer people to. But the summary is there's people out there of all stripes that are just out for the clout. They're not here to create good content. They just want to create drama, chase clout. And I'm being more and more careful about those folks and screening them out. Don't always do a perfect job. I'm not a perfect person, but let's just say that I avoid that stuff. So if there's somebody out there who's chasing clout, they're probably not going to be on my channel, and they're probably not going to come on with me to have a conversation, because I'm trying to have substantive, real conversations, not just drama, not just bullshit, not just clout chasing. It's fun for 10 minutes and then it's not fun. So that's my position on it, guys. That can be clipped and that can apply to anybody in any situation forever. I'm not changing those opinions unless there's some sort of new fact or something else that comes out that changes the reality of the world. But that's just the way things are. So that being said, that's my thought on all of that. Love you all. And appreciate all of you that reach out to me. Yeah, and here's the thing. People say, I'm reading you over here, do not mind me on Rumble, saying, if a sizable but smaller channel is doing something noteworthy or controversial, feel free. But here's the thing, what I say, and I'll comment on that specifically. Comment on the topic, not on the person, right? So if there's a topic that's noteworthy, comment on the topic. Comment on the substance, not on the person. It doesn't need to go to a personal attack, just destroy their argument, right? So if someone thinks I'm wrong about due process, I had a lot of people coming up after my video about Tate in Romania. They were saying, oh, you think America is perfect? You think due process in America is perfect? I'm like, that's a good conversation to have. By the way, I don't think America's due process is perfect. I don't think the American system is flawless and we have no errors. We clearly have a lot of errors in our system, but we have an ideal we can strive for. That's the difference. There's an ideal. We have fallen from the perfect state, from that state of grace for the people that are perhaps a little bit more religiously inclined in the audience. We're in our fallen, sinful nature, right? But we have an ideal to strive for, and at least we have an ideal, right? At least I can simp for the ideal. It's not being necessarily put into place, and we can call that out, but we have something to shoot for. And that's what I go for. A due process as it should be, not as it always is, because it isn't perfect. As applied, it's not perfect, but we do have the ideal. Yeah. And any country thank you, Johnny D. Nowhere is perfect. That's the world. Anybody who says my country is perfect, I can find issues with your country. Trust me. Your country has issues too. And now the thing is, they may be less bad, but they still have issues. So that being said, let's get into some Asian murder. Let's get into some murder in Asia. So yeah, I wanted to cover this because one of the things I get over here in Asia a lot is I get folks who say all the time, yo, y'all are so bad over there in America. Why are people in America so horrible? You guys are always killing each other. You guys are the worst. And I get that. I get that a lot. And it's time to respond with a little bit of that Chinese recipe, like you said, Toothless, a little bit of that Chinese spice. Because I think a lot of times people think America is bad and they ignore China. They ignore a lot of things that are going on, particularly in China. Also in other parts of the world, by the way, ignoring the entire African continent. And they think America is this horrible, horrible spot. Then they forget about the Uyghurs. Then they forget about, lost generations. They forget about the Cultural Revolution. They forget about Abby Choi. We're so focused on the Idaho 4, we forget a story about Abby Choi. And one of the reasons I would love to get deeper into this story and potentially cover it is I'm over in Asia. If I, by any random chance, if I had the opportunity to go to this trial and watch it in Hong Kong, I 100% would do that. I 100% would do that, like without a doubt. Now, I'm not going to get some jab, some Chinese anal swab to get there. But if I could do it without all those restrictions, with nothing impinging upon my life, sure, I'd do it. I'd absolutely 100% do it. And I think it'll be a much more interesting case than what we have in even Idaho. So anyways, let's talk about Abby Choi. So here's Abby Choi. Who the fuck is Abby Choi? Why do we care? So here's Abby. Here's her Insta. As always, we judge them by their Insta, right? So you've got here Abby Choi. Now this is her right here. As you can see, she was an attractive young lady. She was an influencer. I will say, as a guy who's in Asia and my fellow brothers out there, my fellow Asian brothers out there, y'all know plastic surgery. Y'all know what's up. You can see now, this is a very good photo. Like, this is definitely a smash. Very pretty, right? But looking at other photos, you can definitely see this shit is not natural. This is a lot of plastic surgery. In fact, I guarantee you she flew over here to South Korea for some of this because South Korea is premium on the plastic surgery, particularly for Asian type surgery. So, eyes, nose, chin, resculpting, definitely lips done. I guarantee you none of this is real. But that being said, yes, absolutely. This is a beautiful girl, would absolutely smash. She was an influencer, obviously repping brands hard. We can see in some of her other work, she's in fashion magazines, repping all sorts of different brands. Obviously posing in posh places, typical Instagram girl life, But that being said, well known, people knew her, and she was through her modeling, through putting herself out there, she was a millionaire. So through like just pretty much going out here and repping for Gucci, doing all this other stuff, she was a millionaire. She was a self-made millionaire through all of this. So like it or hate it, she made money on it. And that's one thing that perhaps these Asian girls have on the American girls is they know how to deal with the money, right? They monetize a little bit better. So her monetization strategy was much more successful. She is not Korean. She was from Hong Kong. But yeah, very attractive young girl, did a lot of work, well-known influencer. So what happened to her? Well, here's what happened. Hong Kong police, and this is just a couple days ago, arrested 4 people over the death and dismemberment of Abby. It's believed that the 28-year-old victim, she was 28 years old, looked very good. Once again, this is Asia, right? Looks very good at 28, involving large sums with her ex-husband's family. Oh, and I read Best Logic. My name is Brandon. Says, Law Nerd Clips about to break out his Captain Ahab hat and bust out his harpoon. Hey, all good on Law Nerd Clips. They can go and do what they want to do. I don't direct them, but I support all channels in doing whatever the fuck they want to do. Let me put it that way. But anyways, okay. So death and dismemberment. Now we're going to go through the timeline because there's been some updates, right? But I'm going to take you through this as the story developed. So Choi's remains were discovered in a village house, which was equipped with an electric saw and a meat grinder that had been used to mince human flesh. And by the way, I do this for the purposes of legal commentary and not to glorify this. Obviously, this is a horrible, horrible incident and a horrible tragedy. Yeah. And then police revealed that a woman's limbs have been discovered inside a refrigerator. We're still looking for the head, Superintendent Alan Chung said, adding that 2 pots of stew believed to contain human tissue were left at the scene. Elite divers have been deployed to carry out an underwater search for missing body parts at a water catchment area. So there was flesh in the stew, and she was minced through a meat grinder. Police arrested Choi's ex-husband, 28, a man surnamed Kwong, at a pier. He was believed to be trying to flee the city by boat. We'll talk about that. The sources say that the father-in-law, who was the mastermind of the killing, had been unhappy with her handling of luxury property, right? And let me show you some pictures. So here you have some evidence bags. We're going to get to what's in these. There's her handbag at time of death, some of her clothes, a kitchen knife that was used to chop, some raincoats. We're going to get into that, and a hammer. Yeah. Police searching through the trash and then also dragging evidence out from the crime scene. This is crazy. I mean, like I said, you compare this to Idaho, where the guy was in and out, just popped in, popped out, did the killing, got in and out. Much, much, much different. Okay. So let's oh no. Let's get this one. I like my moon. How I like my coffee. Ground up and in the freezer. Got rabbit. Too much. The line is too far. All right, so let's get into the story here. Oh, hold on. I gotta incognito mode this because they want to try to paygate me. How dare you? How dare you try to paygate me? South China Morning Post. You think you're gonna outsmart the mindset? Come on. Not today. Not today, South China Morning Post. All right. Let's get into the details of the murder. So, all right. So they found her. They found her skull there, along with a bunch of blood and other dismembered body parts. Let's see. Here you go. And they just now found her severed head in a soup pot. So one of those pots that they'd found that had tissue on it, turns out, according to the Straits Times, thank you, Singapore, that her head was actually in the pot. It was in one of 2 big pots containing soup or human remains days after her grisly murder was discovered. Meanwhile, another suspect, the lover of Miss Choi's former father-in-law, has been arrested. So the mother, here's what I want to bring out here. The most evil person involved in this was actually the matriarch, was actually the woman. Yes, that's right. It wasn't the dad that concocted this. It was the woman. This is something that was concocted by an older woman, perhaps a mature Chinese shabusiness. In fact, this makes shabusiness look a little tame by comparison. And they confirmed that the head and ribs inside of one of the 2 large pots they received on Friday from inside the house in Hong Kong's rural Tai Po district, where she was said to have been butchered. The head and ribs were believed to belong to Miss Choi, but DNA tests are still needed. The 2 pots were filled to the brim with soup and minced meat, believed to be remains. They garnished it with carrots and green radish. Carrots and green radish. How long do you think it would take to handle Lizzo? Not possible. Not possible. Do not process. Now, folks, don't eat the Wonder Meat. No, definitely not. I mean, once again, this is intense. Pots were taken to the mortuary on Saturday. Forensic experts were examining them. They're still examining them. It's still non-conclusive. And they're still searching for other parts. So they found 2 legs, the head, the neck, right, the ribs, but they haven't found other body parts. They're missing like hands. Portions of the 28-year-old body, her legs were recovered in the refrigerator. They also found a meat slicer, electric saw, hammer, face shields, and black raincoats. It was said, and I read this elsewhere, that they put up a sail, like a sail from a boat on the wall so that blood didn't splash everywhere, like a boat sail. I mean, that's like from The Purge. If you remember from The Purge when they would like all get in their little white suits and stuff, except for they used black because, less blood shows on black. But they were ready for this. They were equipped. So Alex, the former husband, her former husband, this guy was actually married to her at some point, Alex Kwong. He was arrested. He actually was caught on the pier on the island, an island right outside of Hong Kong, with $4.5 million. So $774,000. This is in Singapore dollars. It's pretty much the same in America. So more than over like $750,000 in US dollars that they're holding in cash and watches. So this guy was getting the fuck out of there. So this is not looking good. He was trying to get into a speedboat, by the way. His father and elder brother were charged with murder. No, she was managing certain property that they had an interest in, or they wanted to have an interest in. They were set to appear in local court on Monday, so I'm going to check in on that case. They've been arrested another suspect, a 47-year-old woman surnamed Ning. She was a lover of Miss Choi's father and accused of renting him the ground floor flat of the village house. So once again, these women that are involved pushing this, not innocent here. And Ning was a masseuse who had been in a relationship with Kwong's father about 6 months. That masseuse. So they got divers looking for it, people in the cemetery. Crazy, crazy shit. But yeah, that's Asia. Welcome to Asia, guys. So are we still, is the US still the worst? Certainly not. Certainly not. Not close. US, there's horrible crimes that occur around the world. Whereas they fucked up shit is just white people. Not exactly. It's universal. Now, there was a famous case in Hong Kong about, I believe it was 10 years ago, called the Hello Kitty case, where they actually took a severed head and they put it inside of a Hello Kitty doll. Let me get these super chats. First one was Oriental flavored soup. Offensive on so many levels. Wolf's Pain says she's hot, but I hate that IG hand position every skinny girl does. When they put it near their face, it's generic at this point. Also, this is fucked up. Yeah, it's a very fucked up case. Very fucked up case. Pilgrim says we're drinking woke white tears here in Florida. Oh, there's lots of tears. And I'm going to be talking about those woke tears in Florida in just a minute. But yeah, this is insane. This is insane. I will say this would be a crazy case to see just because there'd be so many people involved, so many people charged. So if I think you guys are interested. Like, would you be interested in hearing me report live from Hong Kong? So yes or no on this one. Quick poll. Yeah, really crazy stuff. It does make Chandler Halderson look amateur because like these people have done, they were like ready to do this. right? Yes, crime-free Asia. That is a meme. Now, as a percentage, is it lower? Because here's the thing that tends to happen. Like if they do it, they're going to do it like really do it. They're not going to like talk about it. Like there's no like talking about if like they're going to do something, they just do it. You know, it's like they're going to commit suicide. It's going to happen. And by the way, I don't encourage that for anybody. I encourage everybody to seek counseling, seek help if you ever are thinking about that. But I'm saying that the people that do it, they just do it. They don't really talk about it. They just go and do it. Nobody knows. They just go do it the next day. You know, they're going to murder. They're going to murder. You're like, you're dead. There's no maybe. There's no threatening period. It's just it happens or done. So, but yeah, that's what goes on over here. Goes on in Hong Kong. Yeah, 0 to 11 with homicide in Japan. Yes, I mean it's either Japan is either all Disney World or it's all Disney World, Happy Land, anime, waifus, or it's Shinzo Abe. We saw what happened to Shinzo. That was all in. That was definitely all in. So 87% of you would be interested in this. So awesome. So if I get a chance, I will check this out. I will get a chance to go over there. If it's open to the public, I will try to sit in on this one. Hong Kong's a very short flight for me. As long as they don't require me to do anything weird. It's all fun and anime until the Yandere shows up. Very good. But do we get to hear about the financial crimes? No. God, no. Jesus, no. No, no, no. I do not care about the financial crimes. I just want to know, how many of you are still watching the entire trial day to day for Murdoch? The entire Murdoch trial. I've reviewed clips from it, and I will continue to look at clips, look at moments from it, but I am not going back except for maybe for the closing. I may want to do a closing review. It's not just been a snore fest. It's been a violation of due process. They were violating attorney-client privilege the other day. Billy says, I'm Singaporean and Singapore is boring as hell. Man, I had a great time in Singapore. I love Hainanese chicken. I was down there the other day. I stayed near Chinatown, near Clark's Quay. Had a fantastic time there, actually. Great food in Singapore. People say, I don't hate myself that much. Damn, that bad? Yeah, no. So 63% of you are not watching it. 37% of you are masochists, are absolute masochists, and you're doing it to suffer. Yeah, it is scary how bad these lawyers are in the Murdoch case. It's really bad. Actually, for me, Singapore felt like Miami, so I was very, very. The weather was not that bad for a person from Miami who's used to that. It's not. It's very comparable, I would say. But yeah, I mean, small, obviously, in terms of geographic area. So let's jump right in here with Reedy Creek. So Governor DeSantis, I've talked about this for a long time. Governor DeSantis has finally signed the bill today in legislation to turn over control of Reedy Creek from Disney back to the state of Florida, where it should have been in the first place. So Reedy Creek, the Reedy Creek bill is going to be renamed the Central Florida Tourism District. It's going to go back to the state. It's going to be in control of the state like it should have been in the first place, like all other districts are. People are bitching about this, crying about this. The DeSantis haters are coming out in force. People are saying, oh, this is a danger. I've seen trending, DeSantis is a danger. And look, I'm not asking you to love DeSantis, but what I'm saying is this particular decision is good. This particular decision is good, and it's bringing Disney in compliance with every other company, every other government in Florida. Disney is going to cry big tears, but that's only because they're losing a massive tax advantage. And because Disney was getting to abuse their workers. Look at this. So this is crazy. But the firefighters, let me zoom in here. The firefighters at Reedy Creek supported the state takeover. They didn't like it. Now, I will say, initially, they said the firefighters were worried about losing their yearly passes, their lifetime Disney passes. They're worried about that. Well, frankly, I'll tell you this. That's a benefit that public entities should not be giving, right? If this was a public entity, they never should have been giving out free Disney passes. If you're in Orlando, you don't get free Universal passes because Universal doesn't run Orlando, right? You don't get free Miami Seaquarium passes as a firefighter in Miami. Like Tampa Bay doesn't give out free passes to the Rays. It's not something you do. You just say, hey, here's some money. Let's pay you some money. Buy whatever the fuck you want with it, right? It's pretty much a bribe. So I get why they were sad about losing their bribe. But that's not, the juice is not worth that squeeze. Oh, by the way, Jenna says, I get to visit my first live stream with you at only having found you a few weeks ago. Oh, and this is what I get. Holy crap. Am I glad I haven't eaten dinner yet? Picking up my jaw from the desk. Great work. Thank you. Hey, Jenna, anytime. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Legal Mindset. We do not hold back on this channel. We are unfiltered, unbreaded, and raw with the legal facts. Other channels hold back. That's not me. I've taken the hits. By the way, guys, make sure you smash a like button on this, because they have been censoring me hardcore, even on topics that are completely neutral. Like my Emily Kors video, they put that on, they restricted that one, talking about Trump, talking about, what's going on there. They restrict all these topics out the gate. And by the way, I know because this one is graphic, they're going to restrict me. So just like the video, maybe leave a comment if you want to, but that really helps me out in the algorithm. And that's been boosting me on the way to 100K. And by the way, we're doing our 90K celebration on Wednesday. I've already gotten a huge lineup. A lot of friends of the channel are going to pop by, people you know, people you love. That's going to be a massive one. It's going to be a long stream. So stay tuned for that one. That's on Wednesday night. And then on Thursday night, I have Rollo Tomasi coming in to talk about Sydney Watson. We're going to get into her. We're going to get some of the conserva thoughts, the Tradcons, the Tommy Larens of the world. We're going to go hard on those. So check out that. We're definitely going to have a red pill perspective on those. Swamp Sageseed says, DeSantis signed the RCID bill, and I'm going to thank him personally tomorrow at his book signing. Awesome. Well, definitely thank him for this, because this is a good policy I can agree with him on. And I know some people say, oh, you're simping for DeSantis. You're just a big fucking DeSantis simp. I can disagree with him on issues, but just bring up the issue. What's an issue that I should disagree with him on? And I can disagree with him on that. I think we need to, as people, get away from this, I stand a person and I like this issue, because we're not going to find these perfect idols. They've all got flaws. DeSantis has flaws. But I agree with him on more issues than I disagree with him on. And I think that's about the metric we've got these days is, do you agree more or disagree more? And for a lot of people, I disagree with them on certain issues, but agree with them on more issues than I disagree. That's good enough. I'm interested in Sapphire. Man, Walt is spinning in his grave like a Beyblade right now, seeing how the current Disney leadership royally screwed up his company and royally screwed up his vision. He was never a socialist, and the propaganda that is being put out by them right now is socialist, is a socialist mindset. And yes, so Demon's Wrath, you are entirely right. I did sit across the table from Disney at several meetings when dealing with not just Disney, but Reedy Creek. I have dealt with Reedy Creek, the special district that was really just a puppet of Disney. Let me just tell you right now, from my personal experience, this is just literally Legal Mindset Andrew telling you as his lawyer experience in Orlando. I had Disney executives CC'd on communications about the special district that had nothing to do with Disney, but they were personally overseeing what was going on in Reedy Creek. Yeah, stream going down in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, if they strike this, I'm just telling you right now, it happened. Reedy Creek is now dead. They're gone. They can't get me anymore, right? But the T is Disney was always puppeting these people. By the way, they were never my client. I have no duty to them. They were an opposing client. They were across the table. They were antagonistic to my clients. So Disney has only been a bunch of dicks. They've only screwed people over. They make bad deals. They don't negotiate in good faith. When they're called the rat, people mean that. They are the rat. And the people that love them are snorting the pixie dust because they've gotten high on that Disney supply for years. There's nothing sadder than a 40-year-old princess who goes home to a herd of cats because they're still snorting that pixie dust. Just saying. And when people get mad at me for this, it's often the people that just visit a lot and they like Disney. And I'm not telling you not to like Disney. If you want, even after this, if you want to go to Disney, that's your fucking right to go to Disney. But RCID as an entity should never have existed. And what DeSantis is doing now is right and brings them into compliance with the rest of special districts in Florida. And if you have a problem saying, some Republicans are saying, oh, wait, the district still exists. They get benefits. They have all these things they're getting, which they shouldn't get. Well, then you have a problem with the concept of special districts. And I got news for you. There's 1,700 of them in Florida. And unless you're going to get rid of all of them, you can't just single out this one. That would be discriminatory. To get rid of it entirely would be discriminatory, perhaps. To not allow them to form a new one. But to give them the powers that everybody else has, that's fair. That's equality. That's different. Let's see what we got over here. I love Polk County catching all the Disney stuff. Oh, yeah, Polk County, and that's over on Rumble here. Polk County, yeah, they caught all those bad people. The bad people, the naughty people. Oh, by the way, Best Logic, I got your member chat here. It says free milestone chat. Why am I paying you twice? Hey, don't need to pay me twice. But I appreciate you, Brandon. By the way, Brandon, I think I owe you a shot. I think I owe Brandon a shot, so I should do that. I should do that here in honor of the death of Disney. So we got to get one going for that. So, or the death of Disney's corporate kingdom, right? Their essential city in the middle of Florida that they ruled with impunity. I'm going to finish off. I still got a little bit of this Valentine's 21 left over. So we're going to hit this. Yeah, it's 11 a.m. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Just get this poured right here. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So you got the nice shot queued up here. So cheers, guys. This is my catch-up shot. I always catch up on my shots, by the way. If I ever have to bank them, I always catch up. But cheers to y'all. And cheers to the downfall of Disney's corporate kingdom. Woof, good. Nice. I got my coffee here. Don't worry. I'll go the other way. Good stuff. So to go back here, though, the fire department has come out and said straight up that they are not able to do their job. Their fire trucks are breaking down. They don't have appropriate staffing. Remember, on any given day, there are tens of thousands of people in Disney. They need those people there. And you know what they've done for years? You know what the story is they've done for years? They've they've waited till everybody is outside of Disney to declare them dead. So their emergency responders won't declare them dead until they're outside the boundaries of Disney World. They mysteriously do not die. Yeah. So that's going to stop. There's going to be your first declared death at Disney World. That policy is going to end real quick. That corporate policy of nobody dies at Disney World, yeah, that's done. You're going to see that changing real quick. Allowing Reedy Creek to possess eminent domain power is one of the most insane decisions our state legislature ever made. IWD, let me be very clear, for example. So a lot of communities have that, like especially if you're a special district or a community development district, you do have eminent domain. Now, you're supposed to exercise that very carefully and under very specific circumstances. And I will say this, if it's for stuff like stormwater or building a road, eminent domain for those limited purposes is fine. My problem is eminent domain has been expanded. Eminent domain after Kilo has been expanded to economic development, which is bullshit. And the problem is a lack of oversight and responsibility and culpability for eminent domain. But for example, IWD, there's a community in there. What is it? The one in Miami? Because I know you're in Miami. What is it? It's I think it's like the Palace, like the nursing home. If you look it up, there's two. There's one in I think the Gables and one in Kendall, and they have their own community development district. And technically, they can annex, right? But they're a private company. It's entirely a private company, populated by old people, run by a private company, but it's old people within that. They have the power of eminent domain. As long as they don't abuse that, I think it's fine. The problem is that Disney was abusing. That's a problem. But I do agree, as they were a problem. Now they got oversight. So I'm a little bit more comfortable with that. Although cities and counties abuse eminent domain all the time. And I am pro massive reform in eminent domain. I'm very anti-eminent domain. I want people to negotiate freely for property. If you want property, you need to negotiate with me freely and get it from me by giving me enough money or things. Orthilo says, can you describe the strangest case you ever handled or investigated? Oh man, I've had some weird ones. I've had some really weird ones. I think the biggest thing was the alligator eating people and like whether or not we had a duty to warn people about alligators in Florida after the Disney attack. So if you don't know about this, there was a gator that ate a very small child in the Disney World Lake by Magic Kingdom. And they were at the Grand Floridian. The kid was walking along the beach, right? And the alligator came and ate this kid. And after that, everybody freaked the fuck out about alligators in Florida. Everybody. And I represented a bunch of cities, towns, small special districts. Once again, this is why it's my practice area. That's why I tell you that everybody else is wrong about this Reedy Creek thing, and I'm the only person on the internet, or even in Florida who's right about this. Everybody else is not qualified to really talk about this because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But when this gator ate this small kid, everyone was worried about it, but the case law was super clear. If an animal is known to be native to a state or a locality, you have no duty to warn about it. So, for example, you don't have to warn people that there's mosquitoes in Louisiana or that there's bears in Montana. Like people just know, like there's bears. If they put the signs there, it's as a courtesy, but it's not because they have a legal duty. Unless there's something like an alligator trap or a pit, people know. Literally, I went to UF, Florida Gators, right? You know, Florida has fucking gators. Like, you should know better. So there's no duty to warn about native animals. If you go down that trail, you're starting to warn about mosquitoes because they might have Zika. And that's how you get to, do you have a duty to warn about coronavirus? There's people that literally during Corona, this is another crazy story. I represented a company that wanted to warn people that Corona was dangerous. I'm like, and put up signs like you can't, like, stepping into the building can inflict you with Corona. And I'm like, it's everywhere. You can warn people about the flu too. They didn't like that. By the way, this is early on. This was like March of the year when it happened, right after the shutdowns. They hated me when I said, are we going to warn people about the flu? But I told them, I said, stop acting like emotional little bitches. I said, how is this legally distinct from the flu? How is this legally distinct from sharks? People mention sharks. How is it in the eyes of the law? The law doesn't care about your emotions and your feelings and, oh my God, I feel a certain way about this. No. I'm scared. Yeah, people are scared of snakes too. And they're scared of sunlight and seeing people. I don't have to warn people, hey, if you go to the supermarket, you're going to run into other people. That may trigger your agoraphobia. People are too fucking soft. Jess, what's up? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, girl. Yeah, a lot of people who are around and in like the biz at that time, remember when people were just asking just crazy stuff. I'm like, if we go down this road, we got to fully go down it. You understand precedent, right? Like you do something and there's a precedential effect. Like you do one thing and you got to do another thing because you've now done the thing. So don't do the thing in the first place. Yeah. The old Reedy Creek documents should have always been subject to Sunshine Law. But yeah, it wasn't safe. A lot of people lost their minds during that time, and I get it. I've forgiven the people that I think are reasonable. They were just getting emotional because they had somebody, right? Let's say you had somebody in your family who's particularly vulnerable. I'm sensitive to that, right? Like if you were a high risk individual in general, right? I understand why you had that reaction, but as a lawyer, you have to take that hat off and put on your other hat, right? You have to say, okay, here's my home hat. I can act at home however I want, and in my personal life, I can conduct my way this way. But how should we be running businesses and setting legal precedent? Those are two different things. I fully support people doing whatever the hell they want. If you want to walk around in a bubble suit, go ahead. God bless you. You know, but that's your personal choice to walk around in a bubble suit. That's you. What about the invasive species? So that's actually a good question. Let me answer that one. I had to look that one up too. Burmese pythons, right? So Burmese pythons are now known. So Burmese pythons have gone from like rare to like ubiquitous in Florida. So if you're in South Florida, you may have even seen a Burmese python in the Everglades. Those are now something you don't really need to worry about, inform of, because they're out there. They've become ubiquitous. They've become common. So if a species migrates and it's now well known that they exist there, it's fine. Speaking of Florida man drama, I guess Pug is accused of laundering again, but this time for the glowies. Really? Interesting. I did not know that. Interesting. But yeah, some crazy stories. I've heard some shit. I've seen some shit in my days. But guys, got to remember, I didn't do criminal law. I was not a criminal lawyer. I was always doing corporate property in-house. I've been behind the scenes. So the shit I see is much different. And I'll tell you the shit I see, a lot of the shit I see is not the law. It's the story behind the law. It's what's going on that causes the thing to happen. When I see two business partners fighting over a business, but the real reason is because one business partner is fucking the old business partner's ex. Right? That's the real story. That's the story behind the law. That's why on my channel, I try to look at the law in context, right? Because there's a story behind it. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. What causes these things to go to the suit? What makes them happen? What pushes the levers that get us in these positions? That to me is fascinating. A couple tips over here on local. So let me get to these over here. Let me show these so I can pop them up. Ron Crossman says, putting up signs doesn't matter. The retarded ass tourists still fuck with the gators. I watch them try to stand next to them for pictures. They have no clue how fast they actually are. Yes, 100%. Gators are very, very, very fast. Do not fuck with gators. Actually, you know what's funny? A lot of Asian tourists, I'll throw this out here for my Asian brothers. They think that the gators are like statues, or they think they like don't move. And so they get right up to them and they take a selfie and then they get bit. It's not good. So do not fuck with gators. Like seriously, guys, I don't mean to say it, like you will get bit. Gators have a brain the size of a pea. It's about the same size as Nick Rekieta's testicle, right? Size of a pea. And what they can only think about certain things. Eat, sleep, fuck, and that's really it. They don't play. Gators don't have a I want to play with you thing. If they're coming at you, it's not to fuck you. It's to eat you. Right? That like they're not moving because they're like just I want to play. He wants to check you out. Got to understand that. They're ambush predators. That whole staying still thing, that's kind of their game. IW said a few pairs of king cobras almost managed to set up shop in the glades a couple years back. We grabbed them beforehand, dodged a bullet there. That would have been bad. That would have been really bad. Water moccasins are bad enough. I've almost been bitten by a couple of those when I was out in the glades at a friend's place. But yeah, those are bad. That'd be real bad. Krusty Mako says, I'm up to my neck in audit inquiry response letters. Your stream helps me say, saying, hey man, I'm glad I'm helping you. I know that guys, if you want to catch me, the best place is always on locals. I'm doing on the days where I'm not streaming on YouTube, I'm probably streaming on locals, and I'm going to try to stick to about 3 streams on locals, maybe 1 that's Rumble exclusive, and then the rest 2, 3 on locals. 3 on YouTube, 2 on locals, maybe 1 on Rumble. But that's about the schedule that's going to be going forward. Also, make sure I have lots of clips, pre-recorded videos for you guys as well. But always catch me there. Baldo.com, promo code knows. Okay. All right. Thank you for shilling for Nick, I guess. Pilgrim Media says, I work at the 13th Judicial Circuit in Florida. Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, definitely some insanity in the 13th Judicial Circuit. In Tampa, over there in Tampa. I actually had a job offer from them, but I never went to go take it just because I didn't want to live in Tampa. No offense to Tampa people, but I was never a Tampa person. I had a couple girls I knew that were from Tampa, some very nice girls, some very hot girls from Tampa. I just didn't want to live in Tampa. Not my thing. Tampa's fine to visit. I go there, eat some food, whatever, maybe stop by Mons Venus, but then come back to another city. Let's see. Ben SC says there was places there, malls and areas with continuously playing Corona recordings that got crazy. Guys, it got insane. And even over here in Asia, particularly, they had coronavirus stuff everywhere. That is now dying even here. And I'm so glad. People are getting red pilled. People are finding out the facts. They're finding out the truth. That all that signage, all that recording, it didn't do a damn thing. It did not do a damn thing. I love these memes on locals. Shout out to locals crew, memeing the shit out of my huge 90K stream. Yeah, don't miss that. I got a lot of folks signed in, a lot of big names, a lot of friends of the channel. You guys will be pleasantly surprised. Very pleasantly surprised. Oh yes, this is definitely a good depiction of Mickey Mouse. It's accurate to scale. Oh, on Rumble over here for $2. Blue Fire says unrelated, but what do you think of Ben Crump's vow to fight DeSantis destroying Black history? What the fuck did Ben Crump say about what? Why is he destroying Black history? I mean, yeah, over rejecting Black history. He's mad that okay, well, we don't need a Black history course. It's just history. people were part of that of all races. What are we going to have, an Asian history class, a Native American history class, and whatnot? By the way, places like Canada do that. You end up learning nothing. You go down that road and you learn a whole lot of nothing. We don't even learn history, right? Our basic history. People don't even understand our basic history. How are they going to learn more? Look, our public system, our public school system is shot, and it's not because of conservative. It's because the school boards are controlled completely by insane people. And that's everywhere. That's why folks are homeschooling. Folks are going to private school. It's happening because they've nuked that system in general. And there's already a lot of propaganda. And look, I said this when I was in Orlando. Like, I think I went out with like 2 or 3 teachers. Like, these were, elementary, middle school teachers. And what they're teaching is in public schools is sad. I mean, they have trouble teaching kids to read. Like, they are graduating a significant number of illiterate kids because they have only like an upper out system, and they never really kick them out. So they keep moving them up no matter what. They do not fail them. So they are moving kids from 2nd to 3rd grade, 3rd to 4th, and they can't read. There's a very basic problem in this country. And it's not that they don't understand Black history. Oh yeah, sorry. I did skip one good meme, the Rittenhouse throwback. All those that missed the days of me sitting on the Johnson. I love how you have a fat woman in the background, because that is totally what I had in the background. Appreciate y'all on locals. Thank you, Veal. You can't fail them. No child left behind. Yep. Yeah, Canada. Yeah, there you go. You said it, I'm not Obama. Unless you're literally the hard R that just passed you through middle school. There you go. It's sad. It's a sad state of things. Very sad state of things. All right, guys. So I have to jump over and hang out a little bit with Valiant Renegade and do a little bit of recording with him. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to be back. I'll try to do a locals recording late night. And I'm also going to be doing a Rumble late night this week as well. So look forward to those. Then I got my 90K celebration. We got Rolo on as well, and a lot of good stuff and announcements on this channel, including my new channel. I will have a new channel launching very soon. So I'm going to talk about that very, very soon. We're pre-recording, so there's no place to send you over to. But that being said, guys, check it out. I know there's lots of other people who are out here right now. I think Joe will probably kick it off if he's around. A couple other folks will probably kick it off. Go check out those guys. Go check out all the great people, all the great content creators. And I will catch you again very, very soon. See ya.